Hi and welcome. Welcome to Thoughts from the Pastor. My name is Andrew. In case you don't know, I'm one of the pastors at Epping Baptist Church. It's lovely to have you join me today. I've just been talking to some friends on Zoom and we've been chatting about a whole host of things, our trip to Southeast Asia, different sorts of coffee that we enjoy, or not as in my case. And one of the things that came up was one of the couples was sharing about having spent some time in isolation, but doing puzzles and enjoying 1,000-piece puzzles, and some of them are really difficult, etc. And it reminded me that my family had been redoing a puzzle that we'd received a couple of years ago. It was only 250 pieces, but it was a puzzle of the family. A picture was taken 3 years ago and was put onto a puzzle, and hopefully you will see a piece of that now. And indeed, it just was a lovely thing to see how much the kids had grown and just enjoy doing that puzzle together. But it put me in mind that sometimes our lives are a puzzle, and as we put different things together, it's only as we begin to see the full puzzle do we get the complete picture. And that, of course, put me in mind of one of my favourite psalms. I've got lots of favourite psalms, Psalm 145, Psalm 121, Psalm 8, to name but a few. But I guess my all-time favourite is Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I arise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. And so it goes on. Let me get it right for you, just in case I get it wrong. You know when I sit and when I arise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in, behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. Often life does seem a puzzle, and particularly at the moment with everything changing and continuing to evolve around us, we sometimes struggle with it all. I know I do. But also it is a wonderful opportunity that we have been given this life, and how we use it is very much up to us, and God encourages us to reach out to him in many different ways, and I hope that you've been able to do that, to reach out to him. But this passage is a wonderful passage that speaks of God's love for us. But for some, it could actually feel quite threatening. How does it feel to know that God knows us completely? God knows us completely. The psalmist continues, if I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. You see, as we go on, we often find that we get periods of darkness. Maybe it's depression, maybe it's poor mental health, maybe we're feeling just down for a day or two. It's important to recognise that actually that's okay. That sometimes we are happy and joyful and everything is perfect. But also sometimes life is difficult, that we find it hard, that we're lonely. God encourages us to bring our whole self to him, the good parts and the not so good parts. Because as the psalmist so rightly says, he knows us completely. We can't hide anything from him. So my friends, can I encourage you to be open to God and open to each other? God continues to reach out and wants to know us more and more. We can ask lots of questions of this passage, and one of my favourite Bibles is this one. It's the Serendipity Bible. And on the inside it has the scripture, but then you see down the side here it has loads of different questions that we could ask of the passage. And so you're never really alone when you look at it, because there's always something to look at and think about and question. And God encourages us to question and to think through our faith. So can I encourage you, just as we close, to put the whole picture together. And I hope you'll see the whole picture in a few moments of the finished jigsaw puzzle. As we gather, as we think of how God builds into our life, can we think how we can build into other people's lives? Maybe a phone call, an email or a text message to encourage them, to say how you're going. And maybe take that outside our normal circle of friends and family, but to think through who else we could call from our church directory. Let's encourage one another. God says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." At least that's what David says here in Psalm 139. "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." God bless.